Gio, thank you for joining us today in advance of your trip to Los Angeles before you face LA Galaxy tomorrow on ESPN. Do you have any thoughts on the match before we go into questions?
Yeah, I mean, another difficult match, another West Conference important game. A Galaxy team that we know very well, and we've been preparing well as well. It's always good to have almost an entire week to be able to prepare, to get guys rested, and get everyone on the right page. And now that we have some players back, then we can make some selections. And that's been a good week for us. The mentality is good. Being able to get 6 points in the last 3 matches has been important. And now we have to continue to accumulate to make sure that we stay competitive in that area and continue to move forward in order to stay in playoff zone. So guys are ready to perform, and the week has been very good.
We'll go into questions, starting with Paul Danzer, Portland Tribune.
Hey, Gio, I'm hoping you can talk a little bit about.
Hey, Paul, you cut out there.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Hey, Gio, just talk a little bit about Moreno and when will he get here and how you think you'll be able to implement him once he gets comfortable with your team.
Yes, Paul, you're talking about Moreno, correct?
Yes.
So we'll see. I mean, first of all, let's talk about the fact that we've been able to bring a good player, a player that has shown good quality in Copa Libertadores, in the Colombian League, a young player with talent. And then we have to just make sure that we do the same thing that we usually do to make sure that he gets adapted, that he start getting to understand the league, that now, this is the first time that he is traveling away from Colombia. So there's going to be always a period of time for him to adapt. But the good thing is that we acquire a talented young player that I'm sure will contribute to the players that we already have. So excited about the fact that we're going to have another addition. And I think we become stronger with having more depth into our team.
What a Tyler Tatchman, Oregonian.
Hey, Coach, I hope you're doing well. Felipe Mora got the last 2 games, has had pretty impressive goals. What has he done that has kind of made him so effective in this last couple stretches of games?
Yeah, we have the tendency sometimes to look at the player in the moment that they're doing well and trying to understand why they were able to achieve the 2 goals in these 2 matches. And we have to understand that it's a process. Even sometimes in those games that he didn't score, he's been important for us. He's a player that understands the game well, that allows us to be able to be a better attacking team. His movements, his thinking process in the game is great. It allows us to be able to be a better team. And in these past 2 games, he was able to execute 2 very good headers and 2 great goals that show his quality. But it's not only him, it's also the guys around him. The cross from Seba, the cross from Asprilla, the way we got into the zones. We are building back on to where we want to be, and everyone is important. And performances like Mora, like other players that now are starting to get comfortable again, the team together get comfortable again. It's great, and we're going to see more of this, not only from Mora, I'm sure from everybody else.
Nick Krupke, KPTV.
Gio, going back to Moreno one more time, if we could, how much do you feel like you thrive in that moment to bring on a new player from a different country that, knows a different world than what he's going into?
I think there's different reasons why I think that he will adapt a lot faster, and it's because I think We have a locker room in which I think he will feel comfortable, that is going to guide him into understanding this league, the city, the differences in another league and in another country. So I'm sure that he will adapt very quickly. I'm sure as well that looking at the way he plays and his talent, he will definitely be one that from the get-go will understand some of the things that he can do in this league. And the important part is to make sure that we continue to develop him. I think the big part of him wanting to come to the United States and especially to Portland is because he sees this league and in this club as a club in which he can continue to grow. His expectation is very high, and we're going to work with him to guide him, from beginning to end, to make sure that he does the best that he can for him and for us as well. But this also creates a little bit more competition, raises the level, and all the things that we know that a talented player can give to a team when they arrive.
Gio, if I can follow up, just what I was maybe more so looking for was, what role do you take on in that, in bringing on a young player that's 21 that is coming stateside for the first time, just from your past experiences as a player and coaching elsewhere?
I mean, it's always great to be able to have a young player that is talented, that is going to be able to get to your team, because you can work with him, you can make a better player, you can be able to mold them into what you need for the team. And it's always good for coaches to be able to have these options. We scouted him. We had some choices. We decided to go with him. Credit to the scouting department, to Gav and Ned, that were able to execute this deal, and which wasn't easy, and because many clubs were interested in Santiago, and the fact that he himself wanted to come to Portland, I think was very, very important.
We'll go to Kyle Pinnell.
Hi, Gio. I hope you're doing well. I'm just kind of curious about scouting. Just when did you first see him and what stood out about him? And then also you mentioned the importance of having depth, especially in that position. And I'm curious, what do you anticipate the best way maybe to play Santiago to take full advantage of his skill set and what he brings to complement the rest of the roster and the attack especially?
I mean, he's a player that we knew from before. We follow many leagues and especially the Colombian league. So we were aware of him, and then it was presented to us with other players. We felt that he was the right option for us. And then from that point, it wasn't easy, but there was a lot of work put in behind to make sure that we were able to bring him to Portland. He's a player that has played winger, has played number 10, can adapt to different system. He's a smart player on the field, even though he's young and talented. He has a good understanding in how to adapt to different positions and in different scenarios and situations. So that's one of the things as well that we like, that even though he's young, he looks mature in understanding and adapting to different situations, as we saw with America de Cali. And I think he has one thing that is very important. He's hungry. He's determined. He wants to grow. He wants to be a player that can develop, and he's coming here with that desire. He doesn't think that he made it now that he's coming to MLS or coming to Portland. His expectation is very big, and he's one that is determined to wanted to fight every single practice to get better. So you want those kind of players, and I think he filled the profile that we were looking for.
Go back to Paul Dancer.
Hey, Gio, can you give us an update on Nizgoda and then Blanco's progression in terms of minutes? And also, do you know when Bravo will be back?
Yeah, so starting from the last player, Bravo played very, very well the 2 matches that he played in the Olympics, as being one of the best players in the Argentine national team. Now we expect him soon to start traveling directly from Japan to come to Portland. So I believe that starting from next next week. He will be available already to be with us. And then we'll have to see how he returns and make our selections. Seba is progressing well. He will be available. He's traveling. He's coming. He will be one player that I have to be able to put in trying to get points against the Galaxy. And he's been looking better and better in practice. When I'm saying better, it's more comfortable, you know, and confident that he can execute more things on the field. So that has been very good. And Niezgoda is practicing. Sometimes he's able to fulfill almost full practices. Sometimes we still have to make sure that we manage the moments. So in reality, he's not ready yet to be part of our bench. But soon enough, he's getting there, and the performance team is working very hard to get him, to a good point in order for us to start giving him the chance to be able to participate. But at the moment, he's not ready yet.
Time for one more, and we'll go back to Tyler Tatchman.
Coach, when Mora first came over in 2020, what stood out to you about him, and how have you kind of seen him develop over the last few months?
So Mora, before coming, there was an opportunity that we were looking at him. Then we couldn't acquire at that time. We were impressed with some of the things that we saw from him. But then the window opportunity came for us to be able to bring him in. And from the first minute, he showed that he has quality. We understood more and more about him and what he was capable of doing, and where his strengths were utilized in a better way. And he's been one that allows to be a better team, to become a team that can be stronger going forward, that can have better movements. And we saw last year, once the team clicked, besides the MLS back tournament, which he wasn't as available because he had an injury. But during the season, one of the reasons why we score so many goals is thanks to the movement of Mora on top. Is thanks to the selections that we have when Niezgoda and Jebo. It was because the way the team was functioning was fluid, and we had different options to be able to score goals, and that's why we were the second team with the most goals scored last season. Now we are building back up. Mora is getting more comfortable. He had to go away with Copa America, and the fact he didn't play that many matches didn't allow him to be able to continue to stay constant. And now that he's back training here, getting more games, then we see, what he's capable of, not only with scoring goals, but to help us, be a better team on top, with the competition, of course, of Jeb or Niezgoda when Niezgoda will be available. I think now that we have the right pieces, now we can compete the right way, not like before when, we had to stay afloat, we had to survive, and credit to the guys that we've been able to do so. So now I think we can see the full spectrum of players like Mora and what they can give us.
Okay, thanks, Gio, for taking the time. I know you have a flight to catch, so we're going to wrap it up there. And media, thank you for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you.